I want us to slow down for a moment. Because sometimes when things begin to grow, we become excited and start rushing. But real understanding does not come from rushing. It comes from paying attention to the small things that are changing inside you, even when nobody else notices it yet.
But if nobody notices it, how do we know it is real and not just something we are imagining to make ourselves feel better?
When you begin to approach something you once avoided, even if you are still unsure.
You may not fully see it yet, but what started as something small is beginning to shape people's expectations, and when expectations grow, they bring a kind of pressure that does not leave easily once it settles.
I feel it in small ways. Like when I wake up and before I even move, something reminds me that people are waiting for me to show up. Not just physically, but in a way that actually means something to them.
That is the point where what you are doing stops being optional. Because even if you walk away, the effects of your absence will still be felt.
This is heavier than before.
I have been observing quietly, and I want you to understand something before things go too far. Because when people begin to look at you as someone they can rely on, it changes the meaning of your actions completely. You may think you are simply showing up and doing what you can, but for someone else, that consistency becomes something they hold on to, and if it shakes, it affects them more than you realize.
We are considering you for a program that supports community initiatives, but we need clarity, because this is not something we give to people who are uncertain about what they are building. I did not start with a clear plan, but I have come to understand that what matters is not how something begins, but whether you are willing to continue even when it becomes difficult and unclear.
You are misunderstanding me. I am not saying it is true, but where there is talk, there is usually something behind it. In every rumor, there is always an iota of truth. I understand you now. A narrative is currently ongoing, and by the time people try to correct it, the damage is already done.
Good morning, officer. How are you today, sir? Thank you very much for your nomination the other day. I appreciate it. Yes, I can hear you, sir. Due to recent concerns that have been brought to our attention, we will need to pause your involvement in the program until everything is properly clarified. So something that was already in motion can just stop like this without even understanding what is actually happening? Yeah? What do I do at this point?
It is a precaution. We cannot proceed otherwise.
We appreciate what you are doing, but there are things we need to be sure about. Because when it comes to children, we cannot ignore concerns even if they are not fully confirmed.
I understand the need for caution, but I believe it is better to speak clearly about what those concerns are. Because uncertainty can create fear even where there may be no real problem. I have been trying to understand how something that felt so alive can become this empty again, and the more I sit with it, the more it feels like I have returned to a place I thought I had already left behind completely. I told myself this time would be different, that even if things were not perfect, at least they were moving, but now I am looking at it again and I cannot. But what I cannot stop asking myself is this. If something has fallen apart this badly, if it has become this still again, is it even possible for it to come back to life again, or is this where it actually ends? Because at this point, I don't understand anything anymore. It is strange how quickly something can change from being full of life to completely quiet. Like everything just stepped away at once and left no explanation behind.
Taye, you are standing at the point where you must decide whether what you built depended on people staying or on you continuing. Because those two things are not the same.
Sola, it is difficult to separate them when everything seems to be falling apart at the same time.
That is exactly when the difference becomes clear.
I kept practicing what you taught us, even when others stopped coming, because something about it stayed in my mind and would not let me leave it the way it was before. So if it worked for me, does that mean it can still work for others too?
Taye, you have been caught up with all that have been happening lately that you forgot to ask the right questions. Maybe the question is not whether everything will return the way it was before, but whether I'm willing to continue even if it does not, because stopping now would be the only way to make sure it never leaves again. Good evening, children. I am very happy to see you here today. Let's quickly get into the business of the day so we can catch up and finish up as soon as possible. We are not waiting for things to be perfect before we begin again, because if we do that, we may never move. And what matters is not how many we are right now, but that we refuse to stop. Please come. Go get a seat. We're currently doing mathematics. I hope you catch up very fast.
Mr. Taye, we allowed uncertainty to guide our actions, and sometimes fear makes people respond before they understand fully. Now we know better. We are really sorry. It's fine, Mommy Faith.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. What matters now is not what happened before, but what we choose to build from here. There was a moment when I looked at everything and asked myself if it could ever live again, because it felt too broken and too quiet to recover. But now I understand that some things do not end when they become silent. They are only waiting for the moment you choose to stand again. There are moments in life when everything around you feels still, broken, and beyond repair. When what once had life seems to have completely faded, leaving you with nothing but questions. And in that moment, a question rises quietly within you, a question that feels too heavy to answer with confidence. And sometimes, the answer is not found in what you see at the moment, but in the life that returns when you choose not to give up.
Thank you for watching part 1, 2, and 3 of Can These Bones Live? If you liked the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscription is free. Please stay tuned for more interesting stories from this channel. I'll see you in my next video. Until the next time, Joy, the storyteller. Bye!